My child, that person is not your peace. Stop giving them my place. I am not saying this to shame you for loving them. I am not saying this because your feelings do not matter. I am saying this because I see how much of your heart has been rising and falling with them. Their silence has been affecting you too deeply. Their attention has been lifting you too high. Their distance has been pulling you too low. That is not peace. That is a heart trying to find stability in someone who was never created to carry the weight of your soul. I know you care. I know you hoped. I know there are memories, prayers, and moments that make it hard for you to release the place they have taken inside you. But listen to me carefully. A person can be important to you without becoming your source. A person can be loved by you without becoming your center. When their response decides your worth, they have been given too much power. When their presence decides whether you feel safe, they are sitting in a place only I can hold. My child, I am calling you back. Not away from love, away from attachment that is stealing your peace, away from longing that has become louder than my voice, away from the fear that says you will not be okay unless they choose you, notice you, return to you, or finally become what your heart has been begging them to be. Stay with me in this message. Do not rush past this. Before this word is finished, I will show you what has been holding your heart, why it has hurt so deeply, and how I will restore the peace you were never meant to receive from them. My child, you know this message is not random. There is a reason these words have reached you now. There is a reason your heart slowed down when you heard me say that person is not your peace. Because somewhere inside, you already know. You have been giving them more room than they were meant to hold. Maybe your day changes when they respond. Maybe your heart drops when they stay silent. Maybe you have tried to act calm, but inside, you have been waiting for a sign from them that you are still wanted, still remembered, still worth choosing. I see that. I see the way you check for their name. I see the way you replay conversations and search for meaning in small changes. I see how one moment of warmth from them can make you feel alive again, and one moment of distance can make your soul feel unsettled. My child, that is not the peace I give. That is your heart reaching for security in a place that cannot hold it. You may have called it love, and maybe love is part of it. But when love begins to take your peace, when longing begins to pull you away from prayer, when their response becomes louder than my voice, something sacred in your heart has been misplaced. I am not here to accuse you. I am here to help you see, because I know how it happened. It did not happen all at once. It happened slowly, through hope, through memories, through the ache of wanting to be chosen. It happened through the part of you that wanted to believe they could finally give you the steadiness your heart has been craving. But no human soul can become your foundation. No person, no matter how dear, can carry the place that belongs to me. When you give them that place, they will either disappoint you or become a burden they were never strong enough to bear. And you will keep feeling anxious, not because you are weak, but because your peace is tied to something unstable. So come closer. Do not hide this from me. Do not pretend you are fine. Bring me the part of your heart that still waits for them, still hopes in them, still fears what life would feel like without their attention. If this is touching the place you have been afraid to surrender, pray this with me now. Lord, hold my heart. Let that be your simple prayer, not a performance, not a perfect surrender, just the beginning of honesty. My child, I can only heal what you stop hiding from me. And today, I am not asking you to hate them, forget them, or deny what you feel. I am asking you to let me show you what has your heart. My child, this is where you are right now. You are trying to stay close to me, but your emotions keep being pulled toward them. You want my peace, but your heart keeps checking their response. You want to rest, but something inside you remains unsettled until you know where you stand with them. This is not because you are foolish. It is because your heart has become attached to a place where it keeps hoping to be finally settled. I see the way this has been affecting you. You can be having a normal day, then one small thing from them changes the atmosphere inside you. A message can lift you. A silence can trouble you. A shift in tone can make you question everything again. That kind of power was never meant to belong to another person. I did not create your soul to be carried by someone's attention. I did not create your worth to rise and fall with someone's ability to love you well. My child, you may have believed you were only waiting for clarity from them, but what you have truly been waiting for is permission to feel secure. You have wanted their response to calm what only my presence can heal. That is why the peace does not last. Even when they give you what you wanted for a moment, the anxiety returns. Even when they are warm, you fear the next distance. Even when they come close, part of you begins wondering how long it will stay that way. This is not peace. This is emotional dependence wearing the language of love. And I am not saying that to hurt you. I am saying it to free you. There is a difference between loving someone and letting them become the center of your emotional world. Love can care deeply and still remain anchored. Attachment loses its anchor and begins to call another person home. That is what has been happening in your heart. You have been looking to them for reassurance I never designed them to provide. You have been asking their presence to quiet old fears, their affection to heal old wounds, and their consistency to prove that you are not forgotten. But my child, a person cannot become your healer without becoming your burden. Sooner or later, they will fail under the weight of a place that belongs to me. Not because they are always evil, not because your feelings are always wrong, but because no human being can be your God. When you give them my place, you become restless. You start listening for them more than you listen for me. You start measuring your value by what they give, what they withhold, and what they seem to feel. You begin to lose the quiet strength that comes from knowing who you are in my love. That is the condition I am naming, not to condemn you, to call you back, because your peace has been too easily interrupted. Your prayers have been distracted by them. Your mind has been returning to the same questions, even after you told yourself you were done thinking about it. There is a part of you that keeps reaching, a part that says, maybe this time they will make me feel chosen. A part that says, maybe if they finally stay, I will feel safe. My child, I understand that ache, but I will not let you build your identity on someone else's inconsistency. You are not more valuable when they notice you. You are not less loved when they do not. Your worth was not created by their attention, so it cannot be destroyed by their silence. That is why I am asking you to look honestly at what this connection has been doing to your spirit. Does it draw you closer to prayer, peace, truth, humility, and stability? Or does it pull you into fear, overthinking, waiting, and emotional exhaustion? Do not answer from panic. Answer from peace. Some connections need healing. Some need boundaries. Some need surrender. And some need to be placed in my hands because you have been holding them so tightly that you no longer recognize yourself. I am not asking you to make a dramatic decision from pain. I am asking you to stop letting this person occupy the throne of your heart. That throne is mine. And when someone else sits there, everything becomes unstable. Their mood becomes your weather. Their distance becomes your storm. Their affection becomes your temporary sunlight. But I am the one who remains. If this message is helping you recognize where your peace has been tied to a person instead of rooted in me, like this video as an act of agreement with returning your heart to God, share it with someone who has been quietly losing themselves in attachment, and subscribe so these reminders can keep calling your soul back to prayer, peace, and holy clarity. Now come back to me. Let this not be only something you hear. Let it become something you surrender. My child, the enemy has used this attachment to keep your heart distracted. He does not always need to pull you into obvious darkness. Sometimes he only needs to keep your peace tied to someone unstable. Sometimes he only needs to keep you waiting for a message instead of resting in my presence. That is why this matters. This is not just about romance, friendship, family, or someone you miss. This is about the place of your heart. This is about what has been leading your emotions. This is about who gets to tell you that you are safe, loved, wanted, and held. That voice must return to me. I am the one who calls you beloved. I am the one who steadies you when people change. I am the one who stays when emotions rise and fall. Do not confuse longing with peace. Do not confuse attachment with love. You can care for someone and still admit they have been given too much room. You can pray for someone and still stop letting them decide whether you are okay. You can release the throne without needing to harden your heart. That is what I am teaching you. A surrendered heart is not a cold heart. A surrendered heart is a heart that loves without worshiping, hopes without clinging, and trusts without handing its peace to another person. My child, I am gently putting my finger on the place where your peace has been leaking. It has not been leaking because you are weak. It has been leaking because you placed something precious in hands that were never meant to hold it. So let me restore order inside you. Let me take back the place that belongs to me. Let me teach you how to love from wholeness, not emptiness. Because beneath this attachment, there is a deeper wound I want to touch. The fear that if they do not choose you, you will somehow become less worthy of being loved. My child, that is the place I am speaking to now. Not only the ache of missing them, not only the confusion of wondering where you stand, not only the pain of wanting more than they are giving, I am speaking to the wound underneath it all. The place in you that has started to believe their response is proof of your worth. That is why this has hurt so deeply. If it were only about one person, you would feel pain, but you would still be anchored. You would grieve, but you would not lose yourself. You would care, but their distance would not have the power to shake the ground beneath your soul. But this has touched something older, something tender, something that has been waiting a long time to feel chosen, seen, wanted, and safe. I see that place in you. I see how hard you have tried to appear calm while your heart was quietly searching for reassurance. I see how many times you told yourself not to care so much, only to feel the ache return when they pulled away again. You are not weak for feeling. You are not foolish for hoping. But I need you to understand why this connection has had so much power over you. It reached a place that was already hungry. A place that wanted to be loved without fear. A place that wanted someone to stay without needing to beg, perform, explain, or prove. And when this person gave you moments of warmth, something inside you began to believe, maybe this is where I will finally feel secure. But my child, when a person becomes the answer to an old wound, the relationship becomes too heavy. You stop seeing them clearly. You start needing them to become something only I can be. Their attention becomes comfort. Their silence becomes punishment. Their closeness becomes relief. Their distance becomes a threat to your sense of self. That is not the freedom I desire for you. That is not the peace I died to give you. I know you may not have meant to give them that place. You did not wake up one day and decide to put a person above me. It happened slowly, through longing, disappointment, hope, and fear. It happened through the part of you that wanted to believe someone could finally stay in the way your heart has always needed. But now I am calling you to see it. Not to shame you, to heal you. Because what remains hidden keeps leading you. What comes into my light can finally be restored. My child, I know the fear you have not wanted to say aloud. You fear that if they leave, something in you will collapse. You fear that if they choose someone else, it will confirm the lie that you were never enough. Those fears are painful, but they are not truth. They are wounds speaking. They are memories trying to interpret your future. They are old places in your heart begging a human being to give you what only my love can secure. Listen to me carefully. Their inability to love you rightly does not make you unlovable. Their confusion does not reduce your value. Their distance does not cancel what I have spoken over you. You have been reading their behavior like a verdict. You have been letting their inconsistency tell you who you are. You have been trying to understand every silence, every change, every small sign, as though decoding them could finally give your heart rest. But rest will not come from decoding them. Rest will come from returning to me. There is a part of you that keeps saying, if I can just know what they feel, I will be okay. But my child, even if they told you what you wanted to hear today, your peace would still remain fragile if it depended on them tomorrow. That is why I am going deeper than the situation. I am not only touching the relationship, I am touching the place in you that made the relationship feel like survival. You have carried the fear of being too much and not enough at the same time. Too much to be handled, not enough to be chosen, too sensitive, too hopeful, too attached, yet somehow still not enough to make someone stay. I never called you those things. I never named you by someone else's capacity. You are not too much for my love. You are not invisible to my eyes, and you do not have to become smaller to be worthy of staying close to. My child, I know you have asked why you keep caring when it hurts. The answer is not simple, but part of it is this. Your heart has been trying to finish an old story through this person. It has been trying to receive through them what it still needs to receive from me. That is why letting go feels frightening. It feels like more than releasing a person. It feels like releasing the hope that they would finally prove you are wanted. But I am not asking you to release hope. I am asking you to move your hope back into the right hands. When your hope is in them, you become anxious. When your hope is in me, you can love with open hands. You can care without being consumed. You can grieve without being destroyed. This is the freedom I am bringing you toward. You may still feel tenderness when you think of them. You may still have questions. You may still need time for your emotions to settle. I am not demanding that your heart become numb. A surrendered heart is not numb. It is honest. It says, Lord, I care, but I will not make them my source. It says, Lord, I hurt, but I will not let this pain define me. That is where healing begins. Not in pretending you do not feel, not in forcing yourself to hate them. Healing begins when you stop handing them the keys to your peace. My child, there is also a fear that if you stop holding on, they will disappear completely. You wonder whether surrender means the story is over. You wonder whether placing them in my hands means you have failed to love them enough. But surrender is not the same as rejection. Surrender is trust. It means you stop trying to control what only I can hold. It means you stop sacrificing your peace at the altar of someone else's uncertainty. It means you allow me to be God in the places where your hands have grown tired from gripping too tightly. If they are meant to remain in your life, they must not remain as your idol. If they are meant to be loved by you, they must not be worshipped by your heart. If they are meant to walk with you, they must never become the place you run to before you come to me. This is the order I am restoring. Not because I want to take love from you, because I want to purify it. Love becomes healthier when I am first. Love becomes freer when it is not ruled by fear. Love becomes safer when your identity is anchored in me before it reaches toward another person. You have been afraid that if I take my place again, you will lose what you wanted. But my child, when I take my place again, you begin to see clearly. You begin to know what is love and what is attachment. You begin to know what is patience and what is waiting from fear. You begin to know what is worth nurturing and what is only draining the life I am trying to restore in you. Clarity often comes after surrender, not before. Because when your heart is clinging, everything feels urgent. Every silence feels like danger. Every memory feels like a reason to go back. Every small kindness feels like proof that you should keep waiting in anxiety. But when you place them in my hands, your spirit can breathe again. You can hear me again. You can see yourself again. My child, I am not asking you to decide the whole future in this moment. I am asking you to give me back the place they have been holding inside you. Let me sit where their approval has been sitting. Let me speak where their silence has been speaking. Let me steady what their inconsistency has been shaking. This is the prayer I want from you now. If this word is touching the hidden wound beneath your attachment, write this in the comments. Jesus, take your place again. Write it slowly. Write it honestly. Write it as surrender, not performance. Let it be the moment you stop asking a person to become your peace and begin inviting me to restore the center of your heart. My child, I can heal the wound that made you cling. I can comfort the part of you that fears being forgotten. I can restore the dignity that anxiety has worn down. And as I take my place again, you will not become less loving. You will become more whole. You will not become cold. You will become free. Because the love I am building in you will no longer be chained to fear, waiting, or emotional survival. It will begin to flow from peace. My child, I want you to understand what I am doing in this place. I am not trying to make your heart hard. I am not asking you to become cold towards someone you care about. I am not teaching you to pretend that love never happened, that memories do not matter, or that your longing is something to be ashamed of. I am teaching you how to love without losing yourself. That is the reframe your heart needs. You have thought that holding on tighter meant your love was deeper. You have thought that worrying more meant you cared more. You have thought that if their absence hurt this much, then maybe they must be the one thing your heart cannot live without. But my child, pain is not always proof of purpose. Longing is not always proof of love. Sometimes pain reveals where your heart has been tied too tightly to something unstable. This does not mean the connection meant nothing. It does not mean every feeling was false. It does not mean you were wrong to care. It means your peace was placed in the wrong hands. And now I am calling it back. There is a difference between someone having a place in your heart and someone having my place in your heart. One can be part of your life. The other becomes the center of your life. One can be loved with wisdom. The other begins to rule your emotions, your thoughts, and your sense of worth. I am not asking you to erase them. I am asking you to dethrone them. Let them become human again. Let them become someone you can pray for without being controlled by. Someone you can care about without building your identity around. Someone you can release into my hands without believing that release means you failed. My child, when a person sits in my place, even their good moments can become dangerous to your peace. A kind word can become something you cling to. A small sign of affection can restart a cycle I am trying to heal. A memory can pull you back into emotional dependence before you even realize what happened. That is why I am not only healing your pain, I am restoring your order. Peace returns when the center is right. Clarity returns when the throne is mine. Your heart was never designed to orbit another person as if their attention were the sun. You were made to live from my love first, then love others from the overflow of that security. That is why this has felt so exhausting. You have been trying to receive from them what must first be settled in me, the assurance that you are loved, the confidence that you are not abandoned, the quiet knowing that you are still valuable even when someone is inconsistent. My child, I do not want your heart to keep begging for crumbs from a place where I am offering you bread. I do not want you starving for reassurance from someone whose own heart may be confused, limited, wounded, or unable to give what you keep waiting for. Come back to the table I have prepared for you. Come back to the voice that does not change. Come back to the love that is not measured by delayed replies, shifting moods, or uncertain affection. This is not rejection. This is restoration. I am restoring you to yourself. I am restoring you to my presence. I am restoring you to a peace that does not need someone else's permission to remain. You may still need to grieve. You may still need to feel the ache of letting go of an expectation. There may be moments when your heart reaches for what was familiar, because familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar freedom. Do not be afraid of that process. Healing does not always feel like relief at first. Sometimes healing feels like emptiness because the thing that occupied too much space is finally being removed. But empty space is not abandonment. It is room. Room for my voice to become clear again. Room for your identity to breathe again. Room for love to become healthy instead of anxious. This is why I am asking you not to run back to what is familiar simply because the silence feels uncomfortable. Do not mistake the ache of withdrawal for proof that you need them. Do not confuse the loneliness of transition with a command to return to what kept stealing your peace. Bring the ache to me. Let me sit with you in it. Let me fill the space you kept asking them to fill. My child, the person you keep thinking about may have shown you where your heart still needs healing. They may have revealed a wound you did not know was still open. They may have exposed a longing that is deeper than the relationship itself. That does not make the pain meaningless. It makes it a doorway back to me, a doorway into wholeness, a doorway into the kind of love that is no longer ruled by fear. I can use even this ache to bring you closer. I can use even this attachment to show you where you have been hungry. I can use even this disappointment to teach you that no human affection can replace divine peace. So do not only ask, why did they affect me so much? Ask, Lord, what part of me were you trying to heal through what this revealed? That question will bring you deeper than blame. It will move you beyond obsessing over their choices. It will help you stop making their behavior the center of the story. It will bring your attention back to the place I am restoring inside you. My child, they are not your peace. Say that gently. Say it honestly, not with anger toward them, but with surrender before me. If this word is helping you see the truth with clearer eyes, write this declaration in the comments. They are not my peace. Let it be a holy release. Let it be the moment you stop asking another person to carry what belongs to me. You can love without clinging. You can care without collapsing. You can release without becoming bitter. That is what I am building in you now. A heart that is soft, but not enslaved. A heart that is loving, but not lost. A heart that knows where its peace comes from. And as this truth begins to settle, I will show you how to walk forward. Not by pretending the person never mattered, but by choosing each day to let my presence matter more. My child, this is where healing becomes practical. Not dramatic, not rushed, practical. Because after a message touches your heart, there is still a life to return to. There are still emotions to face. There may still be messages, memories, questions, and moments when your heart reaches for the old pattern again. I know that. So I am not asking you to walk forward by your own strength. I am asking you to walk forward with me. The first step is to stop treating their response as the ruler of your peace. When your heart wants to check again, pause. When your mind wants to replay the same conversation, breathe and come back to me. When their silence begins to speak loudly, do not answer it with panic. Answer it with prayer. Say, Lord, my peace belongs to you. That small prayer can become a doorway back to stability. My child, I want you to begin noticing what happens inside you when they become the center again. Notice the anxiety. Notice the restlessness. Notice how quickly your thoughts leave my presence and run toward what they might be thinking, feeling, doing, or choosing. Do not notice these things to condemn yourself. Notice them so you can return. Awareness is not shame. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. When you see the pattern, you can bring it to me before it carries you away. You can say, Jesus, this is where I keep giving them too much power. Help me take my heart back, and I will help you. Not by making you emotionless, but by making you anchored. Not by removing all tenderness, but by teaching tenderness to rest under my authority. That is what wholeness looks like. You can care and still be steady. You can miss someone and still belong fully to me. You can feel the ache without letting the ache become your master. My child, I also want to restore boundaries in your heart. Boundaries are not always walls against people. Sometimes boundaries are doors that help you protect what I am healing. A boundary may mean you stop feeding the attachment with constant checking. A boundary may mean you stop running back to conversations that leave you confused, drained, or spiritually unsettled. A boundary may mean you give your emotions time to become quiet before you respond. This is not punishment. This is protection. You are learning to guard the peace I am rebuilding in you. Do not confuse access with love. Someone can have access to your attention and still not be helping your soul. Someone can be familiar and still not be healthy for the place I am healing. Bring this to me with honesty. Ask me what needs distance, what needs wisdom, and what needs surrender. Ask me where you have been led by love and where you have been led by fear of losing them. I will show you gently. I will not overwhelm you with the whole future at once. I will give you the next faithful step. Sometimes the next step is prayer before contact. Sometimes it is silence without bitterness. Sometimes it is choosing not to chase a response that keeps taking your peace. And sometimes the next step is simply sitting with me long enough to remember who you are without them. My child, your identity must become louder than your attachment. You are my beloved before you are anyone's choice. You are held by me before you are noticed by them. That truth must move from something you know in your mind to something your heart can rest in. So return to the places that strengthen your spirit. Return to prayer when your emotions feel loud. Return to my word when your mind starts building stories. Return to worship when longing tries to pull you back into anxiety. Do not wait until you feel strong. Come while you feel weak. The more you come to me honestly, the less you will need them to become what only I can be. The more my love settles your heart, the less their inconsistency will define your day. This is how peace returns, layer by layer, choice by choice, prayer by prayer. You may not feel completely free in one moment, but every time you choose my presence over emotional panic, the chain weakens. Every time you surrender their place in your heart back to me, your spirit breathes again. I am restoring your inner ground. I am restoring your dignity. I am restoring the part of you that forgot it could be okay without someone else's constant reassurance. My child, do not be afraid of the quiet that comes after surrender. At first, it may feel unfamiliar. It may feel like loss. It may feel like you do not know what to do with the space that used to be filled by waiting, wondering, and hoping for their attention. But that space is holy. I can fill it with peace. I can fill it with clarity. I can fill it with a deeper awareness of my nearness. You are not empty because they are no longer sitting in my place. You are being cleared so I can restore what was crowded by fear. So let me teach you how to love from fullness. Love from prayer, not panic. Love from wisdom, not need. Care with open hands, not a clenched heart. Hope without making another person your foundation. Wait only if I give peace to wait, and release when holding on begins to pull you away from me. This is the path forward, not hatred, not denial, not emotional slavery, freedom. If this part of the message is guiding you, pray this quietly. Restore my peace, Lord. Let those words become your daily return. When you wake and their name comes to mind, return. When a memory rises and your heart aches, return. When loneliness tells you to give them my place again, return. My child, I am not taking peace from you. I am returning peace to its true source. I am not teaching you to stop loving. I am teaching you to love in the right order. And as you walk with me in this order, you will begin to feel something you thought you lost. The quiet strength of a heart that is no longer ruled by another person's presence, absence, attention, or uncertainty. You will breathe again. You will pray again. You will hear me again. And when the enemy tries to pull you back into the old attachment, I will teach you how to guard what I have restored. My child, listen carefully before you leave this moment. The enemy will try to make the old pattern feel necessary again. He may use loneliness. He may use a memory. He may use one small sign from that person to convince you to hand your peace back to them. But you do not have to return to the place I am healing you from. You can care without surrendering your center. You can remember without rebuilding an altar. You can feel tenderness without giving them my place again. This is why you must guard your heart, not with bitterness, not with pride, not with a wall that refuses to love. Guard it with prayer, guard it with truth, guard it by returning to me before you return to the old cycle. When their name rises in your mind, bring it to me. When your heart wants to check, chase, or decode them again, pause and let my presence settle you first. When loneliness tells you that you need them to feel whole, answer with the truth. Your peace comes from me. My child, I am not asking you to erase your feelings. I am asking you to stop letting your feelings become your ruler. So pray with me now. Lord Jesus, take your place again in my heart. Forgive me for giving another person the seat that belongs to you. Heal the part of me that looked to them for peace, worth, safety, and identity. Restore what anxiety has worn down. Restore what waiting has exhausted. Restore what attachment has confused. Teach me to love without losing myself. Teach me to release without becoming cold. Teach me to keep my heart soft, but anchored in you. If this prayer is your heart, write this declaration in the comments. Jesus, take your place again. Write it as surrender. Write it as a holy turning point. Write it as the moment you stop asking a person to become what only I can be. And if this message has helped you recognize where your peace has been tied to someone else, like this video as an act of agreement that your heart is returning to God. Share it with someone who is quietly losing themselves in attachment, waiting, or emotional pain. Your share may become the reminder that helps them come back to my peace. Subscribe if you want to keep receiving messages that call your heart back to prayer, healing, discernment, and holy order. Let these reminders help you stay close to me when emotions become loud again. My child, they are not your peace. I am. They are not your source. I am. They are not the place your soul was created to rest. Come back to me. Let me hold what they could not carry. Let me heal what they could not understand. Let me love you in the place where you were afraid no one would stay. I am here. I am steady. And as I take my place again, your heart will learn to breathe in peace once more.